Hello, beautiful people. Today it's a continuation of yesterday's video. We're talking about entities today. We're talking about how to talk to them. It can be really confusing, and I've experienced this myself as well. So I just want to pass on what I've experienced and also some of the training that I've had around talking to entities and working with these energies so that you can live in peace together. So stay tuned. This is Rebecca Abraxas. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We are diving deep so that we can rise high, remembering our greatness together. So entities. So what's really important to get about entities that we kind of have a different perspective about because of movies, honestly. Entities really are not that big of a deal. They're basically just a different reality, vibrational reality. And they basically are like us with an ego and a personality. However, they just don't have bodies anymore. So, how do you work with entities? Kind of just the way you would work with another human being that has a body. And just like human beings with bodies, entities actually can be nice and evolved and awake, or they can be kind of stinkers or mean or just straight out like assholes. Some of them have realized that they've passed on from their bodies and they're staying in this vibrational reality as an entity for a certain reason that they have. Others don't even realize they don't have bodies anymore. And others just are looking for another body to kind of walk into. And that's like a whole nother video. But so the entity reality is kind of, yesterday we talked about that layer of vibration. And they're in this layer of vibration. And when you are linked in or tuned into that layer of vibration, kind of like when you're on your radio in your car and you're tuning in the dial, right? When you tune into that frequency, you're aware of the entities. And some people even see them and kind of have a physical experience with them. But when that happens, you can communicate with them. You may have a capacity. So when someone says you have a marker, it means that you have a vibrational frequency that's matching them. And when you tune in, they're kind of like, oh my gosh, there's someone here with a body that can communicate with us and for us. So when that happens, they try to get your attention. And when they're getting your attention and you don't realize it, it can be kind of wonky. It can create a lot of dis-ease in your life. You can feel depressed. You can feel anxious. They can torment you so that you actually can't really sleep. You can get physical things. Like I just heard someone say that they had physical marks on their body after they were sleeping. They can make you kind of just feel a little crazy. And before you go thinking you're crazy, it's important to ask a few questions. And it's a really cool, in this class that I took, I did a class with Shannon O'Hara of the Talk to the Entities work. It's a subclass of Access Consciousness. And it was a really cool class. One, I took a class with her virtually on a phone, and then I had a teacher from her work, not necessarily her, that taught like a weekend class. And it was really cool work because I had been having experiences. So she came up with a map on how to talk to the entities and how to find out what they're trying to tell us. This is a really valuable way to talk to entities because they don't have a body. Sometimes the way they communicate can be confusing or can be too fast, or they don't have the certain vocabulary that makes sense to you. So it's really good to get clarity with this map. And the first thing you can do is ask one, am I aware of an entity? When you ask that question, am I aware of an entity? Your awareness will start to kick in. You'll hear a yes or a no, or you'll feel like a lightness or a heaviness. Lightness is true. Heaviness is not true. So first off is getting very clear if you can tell if the energy is an entity or not. If, I'm feeling down today, I'm feeling anxious. Is this have to do with entities? Yes, no, heavy, light, or however else you're going to be aware of it. It's really good to ask that question. And if the answer is yes, then you can go further on. You can ask the question, is this a family member? And again, what is your way of hearing a yes or a lightness? Tune into that. Is it a family member? And if it is, then you can go down a whole other line of questioning. And if it's not a family member, then there's a whole other side of questioning. You see, family members come to you for certain messages, but also people that aren't family come to you because they know that you're going to be in contact with someone that they know, even if it's not verbally. So this is really cool, guys. They may give you an energetic message to kind of tag on to you, or for you to just energetically have, because somehow they know that you're going to actually walk by or be in the same room as their loved one, and that energy is going to kind of transfer onto them. Isn't that kind of cool? So there's lots of things happening here. The other thing that's happening is that a lot of people are dying on either on overdoses or on morphine. So a lot of people are dying of cancer or progressive illnesses where they're dying on a lot of morphine or Ativan and drugs, which gets in the way of consciousness. And a lot of people, when they pass out of their bodies, when they're on this medication, they don't realize that they left their bodies. So they're kind of out here really confused. The other thing that's happening is people dying on overdoses as well. They don't realize that they've crossed over either. So they're trying to talk to loved ones like they always have, and they're kind of gripping on. So it's important to start to tune in to, is it a family member or not a family member? And from there, is this a message for me or for someone else? And then down the road, as you can say, do you want to use words or do you have symbols? Is this message for yourself or for a concern for someone else? So you have to kind of get really specific with the yes/no questions. And then once you get that awareness, it's really cool how it just opens up and you become really aware of what they're trying to talk about. Now, a lot of them kind of talk in symbols. So you have to kind of come up with a little key, if you will, of what they're trying to say. So if you are someone that really wants to get to know the entities that are trying to commune with you or talk to you, this is the path you would go down, this line of questioning and growing awareness and questioning. Now, another thing that's really important is that you set work hours, office hours. The office hours give the entities boundaries, just like people. Like you wouldn't talk to a client or, a business person at 3 a.m., right? They love getting your attention in the AM hours, the early AM hours, because your mind is quieted down and they can kind of get your attention. However, if we don't realize it's an entity, we just feel like we're having insomnia or we feel freaked out. So again, ask the question, I can't sleep at 3 a.m. Is this an entity? You may get yes, you may get no, find out. And then from there, you can ask them other questions. Office hours. Office hours are super important. So when do you want to communicate with these entities that are trying to talk to you? Do you want to do it in the morning? Say 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Or do you want to do it in the evening, right before dinner, 5 to 6 p.m.? Or if you just want to do a 15-minute window, this is what you say. It's just like, okay, I am super willing to talk to you from 10:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. I have this half hour just for you, just for entity clients. So come on in and I'll get my notebook and we'll go through a line of questionings and I will see what I become aware of. and I'll help you out. Family members who have passed, a few people who have passed, I've actually detoxed them. This is another service you can ask for entities. They can come to you and you can realize that they died on morphine, and you can actually set the intention to detox them. Now be careful of this. I did it in the shower once, and I was detoxing a family member and who had died of cancer on morphine, and I got a little dizzy. Or I was detoxing someone from Las Vegas, and I totally could taste the alcohol on my tongue and stuff. It was kind of yucky. But you can totally set the intention to detox them. And once they do that, they get more clear, and you can say, do you realize that you've passed? And if they say no, just like, I want to let you know that you do not have a body anymore and you have passed. Would you like help going to the light? And that's a service that you can do for them. Now, you're doing a service for them. So you can also ask, okay, entities, can you show me some abundance? All right, you can actually ask for contribution. You can ask for some abundance in some way. And then it's kind of like you have clients and they're entities. They just don't have bodies, but you are doing a service for them. So you can play with that idea as well. So in the comments, be sure to let me know if you have any questions about what I'm saying and about the questioning process and about how to communicate with them. So we went over first one, ask, is this an entity? Yes or no? And from there, is this a family member or someone else? Then you can go from there, different questions. Is this message for me or for someone else? If it's for someone else, then you could ask, is it someone I know? And if it is, you can see if they'll give you the name, or see how you can work out getting this message to them. And if it's for you, you can ask, okay, what's my message? And if they don't have the words, because sometimes it goes really fast and it's hard to process what they're saying, you can ask, well, give me a symbol. Give me the next symbol. That kind of thing. So learning a way to communicate, because they don't necessarily have like the English language right now, because they don't have a voice, but some may still. It's just that they're coming from a different frequency. Now that you've matched up close to their frequency, you may be able to speak the language a little easier, but sometimes it can just come in really garbled, and you have to kind of say slow. You can actually tell them to slow down. I want to hear and get this message, but you need to slow down. So we have that flow chart of how to talk to them. And, then the last piece is like, do they need to be detoxed? And set up your office hours. And do you want actually a abundance contribution from them as like a client? So those are some ways that you can work with entities. And let me know in the comments some of your experiences and if this is helpful for you. If you would like some more personal guidance about how entities are showing up in your life, feel free to take advantage of my free discovery call. I spend 30 minutes with you for free and kind of go through a little discovery process. And, if that's all we do, that's great. And if you're like, what, let's work together more, I can guide you in that direction as well. But yeah, having some support around this helps a lot, because sometimes you can just feel like you're losing your mind a little bit. These entities can really wreak havoc on your sense of stability. So if you are in this stratosphere of vibrational reality with these entities and you would like support, please reach out. You are not alone. And be sure to press subscribe and join our High Vibe tribe, ring the bell, and be part of this tribe where we talk about some kind of out of the world things, all about expanding our consciousness, the Great Awakening, light language, positive music, law of attraction. We talk about really leading edge things and how to navigate our lives toward the fifth dimension and above. So You are a beautiful, multi-dimensional person. And if you're feeling trapped in your vibrational reality, that is exciting. It's time to bust through the energetic walls and expand your consciousness. So namaste, beautiful people. I'll see you tomorrow.